Have you ever wondered why Buddhism places such a deep emphasis on understanding suffering and finding ways to overcome it? In Buddhism, this question isn't just philosophical, it's the very heart of the practice. Buddhism teaches that the key to inner peace and freedom from life's struggles lies in understanding and embracing the Four Noble Truths. These truths, revealed over 2,500 years ago by the Buddha, offer a path to understanding the root of suffering and discovering how we can all move beyond it. In this video, we're going to explore these Four Noble Truths one by one. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of these foundational principles of Buddhism and how they offer valuable insights for everyday life. Whether you're simply curious about Buddhism or seeking a new perspective on navigating life's ups and downs, these truths provide a powerful framework for deeper awareness, compassion, and lasting peace. Background on Buddhism. Buddhism began around 2,500 years ago with the life of Siddhartha Gautama, who is now known as the Buddha. Siddhartha was born into a royal family in what is now Nepal and grew up surrounded by luxury and comfort. However, as he reached adulthood, he became deeply troubled by the suffering he observed around him. Illness, aging, and death were inescapable realities that affected everyone, regardless of their status or wealth. Determined to understand why people suffer and if there was a way to end it, Siddhartha left his palace life and embarked on a spiritual journey. After years of searching, practicing extreme forms of asceticism, and engaging in deep meditation, he finally reached enlightenment while meditating under the Bodhi tree. This enlightenment revealed to him the Four Noble Truths, which would become the core of his teachings. The Four Noble Truths, suffering, the cause of suffering, the end of suffering, and the path leading to the end of suffering, became essential to Buddhism because they provide a structured approach to understanding human existence and finding liberation from suffering. Rather than focusing on abstract concepts, these truths address real, tangible issues that people face every day. The Buddha realized that acknowledging and understanding suffering was the key to overcoming it, and he spent the rest of his life sharing this message with others. His teachings spread rapidly, drawing people from all backgrounds who were seeking answers to life's challenges. The Four Noble Truths are considered foundational in Buddhism because they encapsulate the essence of the Buddha's insights into human life. They are not merely philosophical ideas. They are practical principles that Buddhists apply to their lives, forming the basis of a moral and mindful way of living. Through these truths, the Buddha taught that suffering is not inevitable. It can be addressed and transcended by following a clear path. This teaching remains relevant today, as it offers a timeless roadmap to finding peace, compassion, and wisdom amid the challenges of everyday life. By understanding the Four Noble Truths, Buddhists believe that one can move closer to enlightenment and ultimately achieve a state of liberation from the cycle of suffering. Overview of the Four Noble Truths. Now that we've explored the historical context of Buddhism, let's take a closer look at the Four Noble Truths themselves. These truths serve as a roadmap for understanding the nature of suffering and finding a path toward liberation. The Four Noble Truths are Dukkha, the truth of suffering; Samudaya, the cause of suffering; Nirodha, the end of suffering; Magga, the path leading to the end of suffering. Each of these truths builds upon the previous one, creating a comprehensive framework for understanding the human experience. By first acknowledging dukkha, we start with the recognition that suffering is an inherent part of life. This initial truth invites us to look at our experiences honestly, acknowledging the pain, dissatisfaction, and discomfort that we all face at various points. From there, we move to samudaya, which identifies the root causes of suffering, primarily our cravings and attachments. This truth teaches us that our desires can lead to feelings of emptiness and despair when they remain unfulfilled, prompting us to question our relationship with our wants and needs. Next, we arrive at Nirodha, which offers hope by illustrating that suffering can be transcended. This truth reassures us that liberation is attainable through understanding and letting go of our attachments, opening the door to inner peace and contentment. Finally, we encounter Magga, which lays out the path to achieving this liberation through the EightFold Path. This path provides practical guidance for ethical and mental development, leading us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. As we delve deeper into each of these truths in this video, keep in mind how they interconnect. By understanding and integrating these truths into our lives, we not only grasp the essence of Buddhist teachings, but also empower ourselves to navigate the complexities of existence with greater wisdom and compassion. In-depth explanation of each truth. Let's delve into each of the four noble truths, beginning with the first noble truth, Dukkha, or the truth of suffering. Dukkha is a broad concept that acknowledges that suffering exists in various forms, affecting every aspect of our lives. It includes not only the obvious forms of pain, such as physical suffering, illness, or the grief that comes from loss, but also more subtle forms of dissatisfaction, like the stress of daily responsibilities or the emptiness we sometimes feel despite our achievements. For instance, think about the moments when you felt overwhelmed by work or experienced the heartache of losing a loved one. These experiences highlight dukkha, reminding us that suffering is an inherent part of the human condition. Moving on to the second noble truth, Samudaya, we discover the causes of suffering. This truth emphasizes that our suffering is largely rooted in craving and attachment. When we desire things, whether it's material possessions, status, or even relationships, we often set ourselves up for disappointment when those desires go unfulfilled. For example, the constant chase for approval or the perfect job can lead to feelings of inadequacy and frustration. This craving creates a cycle of longing and dissatisfaction that keeps us trapped in suffering, illustrating how our attachments can lead to discontent. Now let's explore the third noble truth, Nirodha, which offers a glimmer of hope. Nirodha teaches us that it is possible to end suffering by letting go of these attachments and cravings. This doesn't mean suppressing our desires, but rather recognizing them for what they are and understanding that they don't define us. By realizing that suffering is not permanent and that we have the power to transcend it, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace. This truth invites us to embrace the idea that liberation is attainable and that we can learn to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and wisdom. Finally, we arrive at the fourth noble truth, Magga, which outlines the path to ending suffering through the Eightfold Path. This path is a practical guide that consists of 8 interconnected elements: right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Each of these elements provides a framework for ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. By following the Eightfold Path, we can develop the qualities necessary to break free from the cycle of suffering and cultivate a more mindful, compassionate, and fulfilling life. In summary, these 4 noble truths not only illuminate the nature of suffering, but also provide a pathway for overcoming it, leading us toward greater peace and enlightenment. As we continue, we'll look at how these teachings can be applied in our daily lives. Real-world application. Now that we've explored the 4 noble truths in depth, let's discuss how these teachings can be applied in our everyday lives. One of the most powerful aspects of Buddhism is its practical approach to addressing life's challenges. For instance, when we encounter difficulties, be it a stressful job, a rocky relationship, or personal loss, we can start by reflecting on the first noble truth, Dukkha. Acknowledging that suffering is a natural part of existence allows us to confront our feelings without judgment. Instead of resisting our pain, we learn to accept it, creating space for healing and understanding. Next, consider the second noble truth, Samudaya. When we feel dissatisfaction or anxiety, it can be beneficial to explore what cravings or attachments are fueling these emotions. For example, if you find yourself constantly comparing your life to others on social media, recognizing this craving for validation can help you detach from those negative feelings. By understanding that our desires often lead to suffering, we can make conscious choices to let go of unrealistic expectations and focus on what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. Applying the third noble truth, Nirodha involves cultivating a mindset of impermanence. This means embracing the idea that our struggles are temporary and that change is a constant in life. For example, when faced with challenges, remind yourself that these feelings will pass, and you have the tools to navigate them. This perspective can foster resilience, helping you respond to difficulties with greater equanimity and clarity. Finally, engaging with the fourth noble truth. Magga through the Eightfold Path provides us with practical steps for living mindfully. For instance, practicing right mindfulness can enhance our awareness of our thoughts and emotions, enabling us to respond to situations rather than react impulsively. This can lead to healthier relationships, improved decision-making, and an overall sense of peace. By integrating the principles of the Eightfold Path into our daily routines, such as by practicing right speech in our conversations or right action in our choices, we create a supportive environment that promotes well-being and compassion for ourselves and others. In essence, understanding and practicing the Four Noble Truths can lead to greater peace and awareness in our lives. They empower us to face life's challenges with wisdom and compassion, ultimately guiding us toward a more meaningful existence. By embracing these teachings, we can cultivate a deeper connection to ourselves and those around us, transforming our experiences of suffering into opportunities for growth and understanding. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Four Noble Truths offer profound insights into the nature of suffering and practical guidance for overcoming it. By understanding and applying these teachings, we can cultivate greater awareness, resilience, and compassion in our daily lives. Remember, the journey toward enlightenment begins with the recognition of our experiences and the choices we make in response to them. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider commenting below with a 9 or 0 to let us know your thoughts. Until next time, take care and embrace the path of understanding and compassion.